What is going on, guys? It is Michael from GPURisers.com, and today we are back and working on our RX 6600 XT rig. Now, I did have a little bit of hiccups with this. If you guys do watch my videos, you know I kind of like doing things in increments and testing it before putting it all together, and that's just because I can work out, kinks and issues before having, 12 cards or 8 cards sitting on a frame. So again, I did power these a little bit differently. Actually a lot differently than I would any other card because of the 70 to 72 watts that they are pulling each. So here we have a dual 8-pin coming from the power supply, and what I did was I connected 2 dual 8 pins to each of these. One strand is powering 2 cards, and the other strand branches off on our splitters and turns into a 6-pin and powers both of the risers that the cards are sitting on. Here you can see on our splitters, they do come off. They are a little hard to get off. 18 AWG wire is thick. If they slide off super easy and you're having no issues, then you might want to check your wires, because I think that they might be a higher gauge and a thinner cable. So that said, these have all been working fine for a little bit now. I did have an overclock issue. These AMD cards are much different than the NVIDIA cards. For the NVIDIA cards, really you kind of set a watt limit, a locked core, and a memory overclock. But for these cards, you need to set a core, a voltage for the core, a voltage for the memory, and a couple other things. So, while I'm talking here, I will throw up my overclocks that I have on this rig right here. And real quick, I looked at, some of the conservative overclocks that MinerStat had, some people in the Red Panda mining community were using, and also Red Fox Crypto. I saw what he was using, and sadly, none of those worked for my rig. So what I did was I used a couple numbers from each of them. Once you have like kind of a baseline and you're having issues with a card, you can, if you see a memory overclock that's a little aggressive, you could turn it down, or if you see a underclock or undervolt that is a little too aggressive, you could turn it up. And you kind of find a sweet point with this. But when you're dealing with multiple cards, although they all look the same and they come from the same box and they come from the same manufacturer, they are all different silicon, and each of them behaves slightly different. So a perfect overclock for one card might not be the same for the other. And when you're building a rig with 12 cards on it, you have to find something that kind of works for all of them. And you can go in and edit the memory clock for GPU 2 out of 12 if you want, or change the voltage settings for GPU 4 out of 12. However, I like to find the most stable setting for my rigs. If you spend hours and hours finding these perfect overclocks, you might gain maybe 0.25 hash here or there, save 1 or 2 watts. If just for me, it is not worth the time and effort to find those perfect minute settings for these cards. So I'm glad I did find the settings for these. I can pull up my phone right here. Let me refresh this. You're getting 128 mega hash on 4 of the cards. It looks like we're running at 36C, 46C, 41C, at fans at 80. This has been booted for 13 minutes. I did have to reset this for messing around with the overclocks. However, I do not think that is that bad. I know we have our 3090 rig here, 3060 Ti. It does not seem warm in here yet. I know I'm not pulling nearly as many watts as I have this thing built out for. I think with the 3090 rig, the test bench, which has a 3090 on it, and our 3060 Ti rig, we might be pulling, even after this one is done, it'll be about 1,000 watts, I think, maybe a total of 3,500 to 4,000 watts, somewhere in that range. So I know someone mentioned in one of the videos before, we need serious ventilation in here to have 20,000 watts running. Again, this bunker was kind of built out. It had to have certain FDA standards because of what they had held here. So this bunker actually has a massive air conditioner in it, and it's very efficient. However, obviously you can't just run the AC at 78 constantly, cooling these rigs. However, when it does click on, it moves a ton of air. So it does rip the heat right out of here. But who knows, I might be wrong on that. As this does build out, it might start multiplying. I do have pretty good experience doing residential mining, grow tent mining, so I understand the heat, and having to get the heat out is more important than the air conditioning. Absolute worst case scenario, we do have the back of the bunker over there. I am able to add an exhaust fan if needed, and it could be a fairly large exhaust fan. I'm talking maybe about 36-inch diameter, and if I needed to do that during the summer months, I am able to do that, and that would obviously pull all the heat straight out through the back. But that's the thing when you're doing something like this, is you try to plan ahead as much as possible. But when you come into these issues, you kind of have to tackle them as they come. And that's exactly what we are going to be doing in the GPURisers mining bunker. So that said, I am going to go ahead, turn this rig off, and get hopefully the 8 other cards on today. I don't see why I wouldn't be able to do that. So hopefully we don't come into any issues. I will do the 4 XFX Merc 308 cards. I'll put those on first, boot it up, make sure it's mining. If everything's all good with that, I'm going to jump right ahead and do the power color. I'm not going to do the overnight wait to make sure that the settings are good. I do believe that we did hit the sweet spot with these. So that said, let me go ahead and get these 4 cards out, and we'll be right back. All right, guys, we are back. I have 3 of these Merc 308s out. It does look like that they have 2 different models. I can't really tell. The boxes look identical. You can see this one is kind of like all blacked out, whereas this one has a little bit of chrome around it. Both are 6600 XTs though, so I think that they have different models. Right here, this one says Merc 308 Black. I believe these are called Quicksilver, and this one I think is just a regular one. I'm really not sure, but I figured I'd open this one on camera and show you guys the different models that they do have. You can see right here, those are a little bit different on the back end there. I think that really the only difference actually is just one that says Radeon and it's all blacked out. This one has a little bit of chrome. Anyways, let's go ahead and get our last Merc 308 out. So I'm using actually a pocket knife. I'll put the link down below for the Etsy shop. He reached out to me, and he's another small business, and he does etchings on knives. He does etchings on tumblers and things like that. So I got one of these knives from him. It has my little logo there. You flip the back there, has the logo right there. Really cool knife. Really awesome guy as well. So again, I'll put the link down below for that guy. It's just another small business. This knife is much sharper than anything else I use, so I will be using this to open up boxes. That said, let's go ahead and cut the seal. And it looks like this is another silver one. So let's go ahead and take that out. So it looks like I got 2 models of each. I did not even know that when I got them, but kind of neat to know. So here is the card. I'll go ahead and get all of the plastic off of it, but I just wanted to give you guys a little close-up look of what these cards look like. Again, they kind of look a lot like the 5700 XT model, the triple dissipation ones. So the 6600 XT is a low-end card from AMD, so I don't expect all too much when it comes to the quality of these cards. However, they did do a good job. Let me go ahead and get the plastic off. I am going to go ahead and put all 4 of these onto the rig, and then we'll boot it up, make sure everything's working, and then we'll take out the Red Devils. So that said, we'll be back in a second. All right, guys, we are back. We have the 4 XFX cards put onto the rig. Looks like everything is working just fine. We could check miner stat. The rig did just boot. So when we refresh it there, you'll see we have 256 mega hash across 8 RX 6600 XTs. So 256 mega hash divided by the 8 cards brings us to a total of 32 mega hash per RX 6600 XT. So that said, happy with this. I'm gonna go ahead and get the Red Devils taken out, and I'll take out the first one so you guys can see kind of what these look like. So we can take that out. Let's see, we have the AMD Red Devil, little cards, a little sticker. So here is the 6600 XT Red Devil. So it looks like these have a 8-pin and 6-pin to power them. I did not actually anticipate that, so I will have to do something with the VGA cables that I had set up. It is likely I will have to run 2 of these off of a Molex connection, but that is okay. I do have these 2 XFX running off of a Molex connection as well, so that is no biggie. They do look kind of cool. I'm excited to see these things light up and stuff like that. I've always been a huge fan of Red Devils. I don't have any other than these. So that said, I am going to go ahead and get this thing all hooked up. I will get the other 3 taken out. and we'll be right back. All right, guys, we are back, and we have the 4 RX 6600 Red Devils up and going. One thing I did notice is, in the back here they have, all the LED lights. This one seems to be a little bit off. I'm not gonna bother RMAing it unless the card has some other issues. But other than that, they're all doing fairly well. Heat-wise, there's not a whole lot of heat coming off this rig. That is not surprising, as each card is consuming about 72 watts. You can see here on the MinerStat dashboard, we are getting 383 mega hash. So 383 divided by the 12 cards brings us to right about 32 mega hash per RX 6600 XT. So you can kind of see here, $850 a month is what this is projected to make. Now, each card being about $500 USD, that will be less than a year payback. It looks like we will be able to pay off about 1.8 cards per month. Now, I did already, like I said in other videos, I don't put these cards on credit or anything like that. I do use mining proceeds to pay for, new cards. So this is projected to make, $28 a day with 12 cards. However, our RTX 3090 rig is still making about $65 a day after our, commercial electricity rate. Now, these are already technically paid off. I, have a bunch of other mining rigs that are all generating revenue. And so I used, earnings from that to pay for these 3090s. So, my kind of thought process with this is, this is pulling in, like I said, $850 a month projected. But I have other rigs like the RTX 3090 that are paid off that are now, paying this off. So that's kind of my thought process with all this stuff is, you have, once a rig is paid off, it's just making money. But, the way I kind of think of it and do it is that rig is now paying for this rig, which will then pay for a future rig. So, if we look over at our RTX 3090 rig, you can see here, it's projected to make about $2 grand a month and about $461 a week, which means since that rig is paid off, we would be able to buy one 6600 XT every week and keep expanding. So yeah, long story short, that's kind of my thought process. That's how I've grown my entire farm. I use, again, mining proceeds to pay for more equipment. So people can get burned on stuff like this if they're loading up on credit. This does say it's projected to make $850 a month. But as I've seen in 2017, people using 1080 Ti's and stuff like that, running all these ROI calculations, that can change tomorrow. So it's important when you're building a rig to take that into account as a risk. But yeah, overall, I'm very happy with this. I'm gonna let this run for a while. I'm not gonna really tweak anything on it. 32 mega hash seems to be about the best that you can get. As you can see here, we have the 12 card 6600 XT running on the same PDU as our 8 card 3090 rig. And you can see right there, we are pulling 3,670 watts between both rigs. And just really rough estimate numbers, this rig is pulling about 1,000 watts. This rig is pulling about 2,600 watts. Plus or minus 50 watts. I'm not exactly 100% sure. I could turn this rig off, calculate what it's pulling and everything like that, but the numbers seem in line. So I will do that a different day. So I just wanted to give you guys another update, another day in the mining bunker. We do still need to fill all this out. We do have some more 6600 XTs. We have a 3080 LHR, 3080 Ti, a bunch of 3070 Ti's, a couple 3090s left. I decided not to go with 3070 LHRs, but we will continue to try to get more cards as they become available. I don't want to pay, these ridiculous, third-party market prices for them. So it's hard to find deals on certain things, as I'm sure most of you guys are fully aware of. A quick update, with the mining bunker. I do think we will be actually moving these racks over here, probably ending before this sink. We do have our server rack right here. I'm thinking about, we do have a little bat on the wall that came with the place, so it's staying, which I think I'm going to put it right here, kind of near the bat. But enough room to, of course, get to the, the sink if needed. I don't want to get it too close to the sink in case something, pops off. So we will be moving these over. This frame has only been used for, holding the cards. It's getting, as you can see, less and less full. Over here, we do have our new lights. I do have the blinking one. Actually, all the lights are turned off in here, just the studio lights. And we have kind of honestly just a mess right now. But we do have 2 more of these racks, so I will be putting another one. And I think right here, let me back up. Right here is kind of where our studio will be. I'm going to be putting all of our boxes into a box wall. It's going to actually be on a rack, which will probably be in the side of the video. I might actually have one behind me. I'm not too sure. These walls are kind of bare. But yeah, I figured this would be a better spot for it rather than, right next to the server rack and everything on the other side. So it's coming together. It's been a lot of work, but we're having a good time, and we're excited to get these things built out here. I'm gonna cut it there, guys. I hope everyone watching this has a great rest of their day, and we'll see you guys tomorrow.